Hi. So some of you know me, some of you won't know me. My name's Andy. I'm an Evolve as ambassador, amongst other things in life. So yeah, I just want to tell my story really, just if it helps someone also sort of in my position, or even finds themselves in my position, because I never expected to be in this position. If I sort of go back 4 weeks ago, I'm skating around everywhere. I've gone away for the weekend. I've skated Cheddar Gorge, which is an amazing place. If you've never heard of it, look it up. There's a video on my YouTube channel. Beautiful place. I'm living a normal life. And you just go for an innocent thing like a blood test. After the second COVID jab, I was having some bruising. So the doctor sent me for a blood test. And that was it. I didn't think anything more of it. I'm totally healthy. I had no side effects whatsoever. Anyway, you have a blood test, and the next day you've got a doctor knocking on your door at 6:15 in the morning telling you need to urgently go to hospital. And I'm like, ooh, what's all this about? Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. It doesn't sound sense. So we go to hospital, turn up, you go in A&E, you're checked into the ward, and then you don't leave that hospital for 4 weeks. Like, to go in a complete healthy person who's running around their life and to be told you've got hairy cell leukemia, like, it's just mind-blowing, like, how that happens. It's just unbelievable, like. And yeah, I'm in an NHS hospital, but I would say the level of care that I've got in this hospital, it could be a private hospital. It really could. I've got my own room because I am in isolation. Basically, I've got a low immunity to zero immunity. My immunity has reached zero after chemo. So yeah, that's why I'm in this isolation room. I can't see my wife or daughter. They can't come and visit me. We can FaceTime, so thank God for technology, because I'd hate to think about this 20 years ago, somebody sat here. So, I can still see my friends, and I still get my support from my family, my wife, my daughter, I speak to them all the time, my mum, my dad, my sister, people you naturally would get that support from, and people are like really there for you in your darkest hour, I would say. And your aunts and your cousins, all those sort of people. And then you have your close mates, I would say. So people like Mark, I've known for many years. When I'm having a bad day, he would FaceTime me and he would see the pain that I was going through, and he would automatically distract me by something. And I'll always remember I was having a really, really rough day, and if it wasn't for Mark, I'd be in that room on my own. I'm too sick to Google or surf or whatever. All you can think about is this sickness, and you've got nothing else to take your mind of it. But as soon as you start talking to someone while you experience this sickness, and Mark jumped in his van, he's in Australia, down by Noosa, so yeah, pretty nice. And he's driving along, chatting away to me, and showing me the sights with his camera, showing me, oh, look at that, Andy. And I'm like, oh, wow, mate, that looks really nice. And he's like, yeah, and you're chatting about it, and before you know it, you forget about that sickness and you forget about that whole experience. And then half hour later, you finish chatting or whatever, and whatever it is, and it's gone. The sickness is gone. Not just because you was talking, the sickness was always going to last you, 20 minutes or so. But as long as you can take your mind off that for 20 minutes, then it's happy days. And, loads of other close friends, like another guy, Matt BC, Matt Global. Like, I would be here for ages if I kept going through the list. But it's not just that they're there for you to speak to, but you also learn stuff. I've learned a lot since I've been in this hospital, because I filled my time learning. I didn't know anything about pensions, for example, for your retirement. But now I know pretty much everything about pensions because I've done open university courses, I've spoke to people, and people like Matt BC have spent 3 hours on the phone just explaining it all to me. And what that does is it stops you thinking about things. There's a lot of lonely times in the hospital, and don't get me wrong, I've had those times, and they've been hard. But as long as you've got someone to talk to, and it doesn't matter who that person is, right? So, I'm talking about close friends here now that have helped me, but then you've also got Facebook friends, right? People that I've never met in my life, wouldn't know them from Adam, but they're part of Evolve Skateboard owner groups and Evolve Skateboards UK, and it doesn't matter if you've not got them even as a friend on Facebook. Maybe there's a post about something or other, and you reply to that post, and then they start chatting, and then you're in a whole conversation. And before you know it, again, your mind's taken away from the situation that you were really in. The situation that you're in a drip, on something or other, whatever it be, maybe the medication doesn't agree with you. And, you know, I could tell you some horror stories from the last 4 weeks, but I ain't going to do any of that. All I can say to you is the last 4 weeks have been like, I've been to hell, literally hell. Things I couldn't even imagine. Like, I would find myself at a point some days thinking, it can't possibly get any worse than this. Trying to be positive, it can't possibly get any worse than this. And no, the next day was even worse. Like, it was that level. So you really, mentally, it's really, really hard for somebody fit and well, living their life, and now all of a sudden, they're in a situation that they've been told they've got leukemia and they're hooked up to machines and all sorts of things come on. And, you know, it's quite scary as well. It's not just that. Like, there, you know, there's a whole host of things. But, you know, you get, as well as Facebook friends, you know, I'm an ambassador. I think pretty much everyone knows an ambassador. And it's not just like a company that's corporate, you know? It's not a corporate company. Like my job, for example, right? And although, don't get me wrong, my job, plenty of people reach out, it's still a corporate company. It's not that feeling of, I don't know, friendship, if you could say, or whatever. So, you know, Jeff, CEO of the company, messaged me straight away, messaged me throughout, sent me a big hamper, talked to me about the Hayden, says, don't worry, Andy, when you get out of hospital, your Hayden's going to be sat there, and once you're better, you can go on it. Things like that really make a difference, you know, because it gives you something to aim for. It gives you something like, right, when I get out of here, and that's the mentality you need to be thinking, not when I get out of here. Because I could easily think going with the mentality of, will this come back? Start going down a whole rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it, of ugh. But instead of that, it's all about just being positive in your mind and saying, hey, whoa, I can't even put into words how much I'm looking forward to ride this board. You know, everybody's seen it, everybody knows it. People are saying, it's too expensive for this, it's too expensive. Who gives a fuck, if you like, how expensive it is, right? As long as you get pleasure, happiness, and it takes you away from what you're doing. So I found Evolve Skateboards because I had a really stressful job, really stressful. In fact, that job was so stressful, it caused a thing called vertigo. And I don't know if you can see my hands, I'm not too sure how they come out on camera, but there's white patches on my hand. And that was triggered by a really stressful job. Every day I was going home and depressed, and there was no way out for me. I'd get up, I was in the rat race, I was in the grind. Get up, go to work, get on a train. Oh, it was just such a balls ache. So I was looking for an alternative method to get to work. That basically is how I found Evolve Skateboards. Or it wasn't even Evolve Skateboards at the time, it was another manufacturer, but it was a bit crap because it broke and I waited like 9 months for a motor and all that stuff, right? So it just couldn't even... Evolve was where basically gave me a board that I could commute to work. And that board was like the first gen carbon. And I don't know, off the top of my head, I've got to guess that's 2015. No, thank you. Sorry, someone's just on a hot drink. See, but that's what I mean. Like, they're always checking on you. They're always like, you know, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? Do you want that? Like, I could not say anything more positive that the care that I've received in this hospital. Like, I cannot put into words just how good it is. Like, it's literally like it's a private hospital, and the hospital is, just to give them a shout out, I know the ward, I was looking over there because the ward is Chartwell ward, and it's specifically this ward. The team they've got here is just amazing, you know? Not just from the nurses and the doctors, you know, those guys are all amazing, will be there for you. You know, the doctors are spot on. You trust them because you ask them questions and they give you the right answers. The nurses all look after you. You know, my hour needs, I felt like I'm dying sometimes. I felt like I've had a lighter on my skin for 20 minutes, right? Like seriously, I'm not exaggerating. This is the pain levels that you can reach, and the effects of chemo are all horrible and stuff. And when you're at a point that they're like, we haven't got any more medication that we can possibly give you that's going to help, you know, a nurse comes up with the simplest of ideas of, we'll get some paper towels, we'll wet all these paper towels, you lay down and we'll put it all over your body. And just that simple idea takes away the pain. Like, might not all take away all the pain, but it gets the pain to a manageable level, and it's great, right? You're right for an hour, even though you're soaking in water. But that cold water and cool is relieving. But it's not just about nurses and stuff, it's about the cleaners, you know? In isolation, the only people I'm seeing is FaceTime people. And it's never the same as face to face, right? But even down to the cleaners are friendly. You know, I know the lady, she comes in every morning, how are you, and we chat. You know, now I know she's got a kid and a daughter, and you know, I'm not going to go into personal details, but you know, you get to know people as you go along. And every single person is a sport. Even the people that make my beds, yeah, literally, the people that make my beds are all so friendly. Like, I cannot say enough good words. So Chartwell World, you guys do an excellent job. The only bad thing I say is there's this guy called TJ and he supports Chelsea. I've tried to convince him, I've tried to support Liverpool, but he's not having it. So we watched the Liverpool game together the other day, Chelsea versus Liverpool, and they were due a beating and they should have got a beating, but they got very lucky because they just chucked 10 men behind the ball for 45 minutes, defend, and they managed to scrape a draw out of it. But you know, there's a lot of banter going backwards and forwards, and maybe one day he'll become a Liverpool fan and he'll understand the light. But until then, you know, he's still a great guy. He's still like a role model, because before I even knew he was a Chelsea fan or a Liverpool fan, he's there, he's talking to me, he's making my beds in the morning. He's like, oh, Andy, do you want 3 pillows rather than 2 pillows? And it's them small little things that make a difference to your life when you're in the hospital and you know, places you're not expected to be. So yeah, and you know, it's all, for me, it's all mental. Like it's the same thing being here as it is skateboarding. So yeah, I'm in here and I'm looking forward to getting my Hayden. I cannot wait. You know, I've pretty much watched every video you could watch because I've had a lot of time on my hands, and I've been on every thread and blah 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 blah. But I haven't ridden it, right? I haven't ridden it. But I'm feeling really excited, and I'm feeling really that I'm confident with what I'm reading and what I'm seeing is true. And the reason why I'm confident in that is, you know, I know Jeff, I know Matty, I know all those guys who have supported me through this. But even if I didn't know those guys, even if you go back to before I was an ambassador, right? I brought my carbon skateboard to get to work so I didn't have to get the train anymore. Monday mornings are pretty the same for everyone, right? Like, you wake up, you're like, oh, it's Monday, I'm going. Monday mornings, you feel like, yeah, I'm going for a skate, because to get to work, it was a really, really nice skate. If anyone knows, I skate through Greenwich Park, you go down, there's a tunnel, you go up the tunnel, you go up to Canary Wharf and stuff. And to go from having a really stressful job that was causing me problems, to actually like looking forward to going to work, because you've got a nice little route, you've got the, you know, winds in your hair, it's like, wow, yeah. So you get to work refreshed, and instead of like this, I'm falling off on you, you're actually happy. And if you're at work and you have a really bad day, whatever you want to call it, you get on your board to go home, and by the time you're home, all your stresses are gone. Like, they're gone. So you're not taking those problems home to take out on your wife, being extra snappy, or your daughter, you know. And that's what you do if you've not got a release. You need a release of some sort. And for me, electric skateboarding was a release. So, you know, I had the original pin towel that Evolve brought out as a customer, was an ambassador there. I had the Gen 1 carbon. I pretty much had every Evolve skateboard. You know, I had the busted limited edition, snub nose. I had the GT when it was a beta version, because I was an ambassador by then. I was testing the GT, Bamboo GT, GTX, GTR, which changed the game, you know. And a lot of people was like, oh, it's all too late technology. And what they don't understand is, as technology evolves, and when you've got a customer base as big as Evolve, like, I know everyone's got different opinions and people are not going to agree with this, but when you've got a customer base that's worldwide, not just in America or not just in wherever, when you've got a worldwide customer base, and you see that through the Facebook groups by the people that you interact with, right? Because if you look on Evolve skateboarding groups, there's people from all over the world. And I was a member of that group when there's 13 people, I think it was. And now there's thousands, I can't even tell you, but at least 13, 14,000 people in there, but from all over the world. And you make friends with these people. And I've even met some of these people. You know, Evolve are the #1 company at hosting events, period. You tell me another e-skate company that do big events, like even the things, we have 3 World Cups now, there isn't an e-skate company out there that can match them for events, as far as I know. And if they exist, then I must be blind, because I am either station, I haven't seen them. And it's not just about Evolve, you know, it's about the community. So at the 3rd World Cup, for example, there's a race, there's 2 days of races of Evolve, you know, there's we have an off-road race, first day, crazy course, like you literally got a grid, no one can get a head start because the barrier's like something, barrier falls, boom, you're off. and you're up and down bumps, and yeah, the adrenaline's pumping and stuff, and it's really, really, really good. But it's evolve only, right? So day 2, you've got an indoor event and racing evolve only. But then day 3, they chuck in a wild card event. Now a wild card event means there's no restrictions. No restrictions at all. You got a board, you got a one wheel, whatever, turn up, have fun, let's race. And you know, it does, you can bring, if you've got a board that goes 60 miles an hour, you can bring it up to this race. You can bring anything you want. Like, it doesn't matter. We're going to have a race. So that was a really fun event. And that gives you a lot of exposure to what else is out there and other boards you get to try as part of the event. And, you know, the big thing again is you're meeting people. You're meeting new people that you've never met before. And it's a really great way of building a network and building a social friends, I guess you could call it. So yeah, you know, just for the record, I think the final was, it's on YouTube one way. It's one of my best videos. I'm not even in the video, but it's like 1.5 million views or something to watch this video. So eventually, after all these balls have raced, it gets to the final, and there's 2 stooge balls in there, and those things are fast. Like, they're like rockets. Woof, they go, right? I don't know how fast they go. 40 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, I have no idea. I just know they're really fast. But speed isn't everything, right? Like, the track was a go-kart track, so there's only one straight on this track. All the rest is bends. So you can't be whacking it around the bend at 40 or 60 miles an hour. Actually, you've got not enough time. You could say the track suits a carve board, right? Because you've got to go, you're in and out, you're weaving in and out, and you're constantly like, accelerate, brake. So even though the stooge boards could go super fast down that straight, the ultimate winner of that race was an evolve board, because it could carve. And you know, it's not only just about the board, it's about the rider. So when you get to the final, you're talking about top riders. People like Samo, for example, who won the first World Cup. Tyler, who's, I don't even know how he was old at the time, like 17, 18, and he's beating everyone. Like, he's amazing, like probably the biggest talent I've ever seen on a skateboard out of not even evolve riders, every riders, right? And he proved that because we had a UK Open, which was the same sort of thing that I'm telling you now, and he beat trampers, street wings, everything, because it was an open race. But he wasn't on a standard evolve, because it's an open race, you can bring whatever you want. Evolve built a board for that. They built a 4-wheel drive board for Tyler to have at least the same amount of power as, say, like a tramper, for example. And yeah, he won the race, like, against all the odds. So he won it. It's on YouTube somewhere. You can go and have a look and watch it. And yeah, that guy's got skills. So he won the race, in my opinion, not just because he had an evenly matched board, but he had the skills to back it up. So it doesn't matter if you've got the greatest board. If you've not got the skill, it means nothing. Anyway, I forgot where I was now. I've gone on a tangent. So yeah, I think you get the idea. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I can't even remember what I was talking about. So yeah, what I would say to you is, like, when I get out of here, like, I'm really looking forward to getting on my Hayden. Even though I've not ridden it, I'm confident I'm going to love that board because of my experience on all the other boards. I'm confident I'm going to love that board. And even if I wasn't an ambassador, like, even if I wasn't going to get that board for free or pay for it, whatever, yeah, I would still buy that board. And it doesn't matter whether it's £2,000 or £3,000 or whatever it is, yeah. I know that board is going to give me so much joy and satisfaction. And you've only got to look at my YouTube channel and just scroll through all the videos. And those videos ain't particularly good. I'm not a professional, but just scroll and see how much fun I've had on all these Evolve skateboards, right? And I know when I get my Hayden, without even buying it, it's going to deliver what they say it's going to deliver, and it's going to be a very powerful board, but it's not going to be a huge, massive board. It's not got bindings and it's massive, and you can fit bigger batteries. No, it's going to be just like my GTR that I love. Same sort of size as that, but it's got more power. It's going to fly uphill. It's got nice little features like lights and all that sort of stuff. But for me, it's all about range, right? It's got more range, and I'm a range person. So if anyone was to say to me, what next improvements do you want to see in a board? I want to see range. Like, give me a board that does 100 miles. And I know people think that's really weird. Nobody's going to want to go 100 miles on a board. I do. Like, I can kill 2 batteries on a board in a day easy. I'm sat there waiting for it to charge or whatever. And I watched, what do they call them? an e-skate video today with Jeff and Matty, and I love those things, right? I don't know why. I like the idea of the podcast that two people are talking it and it's not planned. Like this, it's not planned, right? They're just talking, they're being honest. And and one of the things Matty said in there that stuck out to me was like, they were talking about how far can technology go, how much power, how much speed, and all this stuff you can do. But the only thing that I was interested, because the Hayden, I think, delivers on everything I want as well, and even the range. Like, the range is crazy when you compare it to the GTR, yeah? And it will do me, right? Probably, yeah, it will do me. But I like to go on places where I go for big, long rides. So I might do 20, 30 miles, stop in a pub, have a few pints with my dad, or whatever, yeah? And then I'm ready to go again. But the downside is you've got to plug that board in, or you've got to have a spare battery, right? So you take the battery out, swap it over. That's all palaver. Especially when you can't just click the battery out, and the reasons you can't click that battery out is because it's watertight. I could show you a video of me jet washing my carbon GTI if you want. There's not a bit of water in it. There's nothing in it, right? Afterwards, I've checked, and I didn't. That was disbelief for me. It was Jeff that showed me one day in a shop, in the oil shop. I went to take the lid off to clean the board, and he's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Take the lid off to clean the board." That's what we used to do with the GTs. No, mate, leave the lid on. Come here. You're like looking at it in shock, thinking, "What are you doing? That board's gonna be ruined." And then he's like, "Come on." He undoes the lid, and literally there's nothing inside it. Bone dry, right? So I'm not telling everybody here, go start jet washing your boards, right? Because there's obviously dangers in that. You need to make sure all the bolts are tight and all that sort of thing. And you need, really, if you're gonna do it properly, you jet wash it down, which is brilliant because that will clean your grip tape to pretty much new. If you look at my board now, it's the oldest GTR in the UK, because I was the first person to get the GTR in the UK. That battery is still performing like day one, and I'm not kidding you. I can still get 20 miles range out of it if I want to drive slowly or whatever. And if I want to go for a burn and I've got the adrenaline, I can still get 15 miles out of it. And that was like day one. So the technology is brilliant, right? It's still there, 2 years, I don't even know how long it's been, more than 2 years for sure. And it's still performing like new. And that's just great, right? But it looks like new as well. Like, if you see my board, it looks like it's near enough new. And that's just because it's simply cleaning it afterwards, your maintenance stuff. But it's so much easier to clean a board with a jet wash that is scrubbing away with toothbrushes and stuff and whatever. So as long as you check it's inside, it's whatever, that's fine. But I'm rambling now. So I'll get to the point. The point is, I know that board at Hayden, whether it's £2,000 or £3,000, I'd have bought it whatever. Even if I was an ambassador, I'd have bought that board because I know how much joy, happiness, and de-stressing that board's going to give me. And it's not grown, it's not done, whatever. And yeah, I can't wait. And it's things like that keep you going when you're going through the worst time of your life. Something to look forward to, mentally, something to look forward to. So, all this shit, body ravaged, being sick or whatever. Okay, the thing I'm looking forward to most, don't get me wrong, the thing I'm looking forward to most is to see my family. Obviously see my wife, my daughter, my friends, my mum, my dad, that keeps you going as well, yeah? But that's what I want the most. But to have something else to look forward to, like skateboarding, simple as a skateboard, right? And you grow a passion for this skateboard, it makes a difference. It makes a difference to your whole journey because you've got something to look forward to when you get out of here. Instead of getting out of here, and yeah, you still see your family or whatever, but your mind's focused on, will it come back? Will it, like when I come out of here, I can't even go home to my wife and daughter. I've got to isolate at my mum and dad's for 6 to 8 weeks, right? And in that itself is painful, not being able to go back home and see the ones you love the most, and you're stuck in I still love my mum and dad, but it's not the same as home, and I think everyone knows that, right? And yeah, I just wanted to make a little video about my experience, just if it, helps just one single person in my position, then it's worth it. But it really is, it's just worth it. And I cannot say again how grateful I am to all the staff here, the people that make the beds, the people that clean the floors, the doctors and nurses, they have all been wonderful. Like, my experience has been so positive in this hospital because of them. And those 4 weeks that I've been here, they've kept me all going. But it doesn't matter that everyone's been wonderful. Mentally, like up here, it's still very challenging, right? You're still the person that's sick. You're still the person that's and you're still the person that's getting spikes and your temperatures are above 38 or whatever. So, and when your temperatures, I'm telling you now, when your temperature's like above 38, right, it's hard to even have a conversation with someone. Like, you can't even talk at that point. You're in so much pain and whatnot, right? And I don't know, like, just mentally, you get to a better place. And an evolved skateboard, you don't even have a skateboard, an electric skateboard, if you're into electric skateboards, or if you've never tried an electric skateboard and you think this is something that you might like, or you're having a stressful period like me. I've told you my story about work and stuff and help me. Jump on a board, get a demo of a board, do whatever, and it helps you in some way. And me sharing my story is all it's worth. So, yeah, all I say. Hi, Mel, you right? You right?
Ready?
Could you give me just 1 minute?
And I'm going to inject you.
Are you going to be inject me?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute on it.
Alright.
Cool. So I'm about to get a blood injection. It goes in your stomach. Goes, yeah, it's not very nice. So I'm going to have to go. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, for me, the biggest thing about skateboarding or skateboarding is not the community, it's not all the things. It's just, if you're looking at it solely at your own personal self, it's going to help you with any mental health problems you've got. So forget everything that I've said about Facebook, friends, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. It's just about you and your head zone. When you get on that board and you go for a cruise, you're not thinking about anything else. You're enjoying the air in your hair or whatever, and you're concentrating on this and that. When you're weaving and you're carving, it just takes all your worries away, and mentally it helps you get you in a good space. So I've got to go because the nurse wants to see me, but I hope this video just helps someone else. Even one person, like I said, is happy. There's going to be a link in the video for a donation. You don't have to donate, but if you could help these guys, they are spot on. But the challenges these guys face is simple things like this, for example. This bandage, right? Now, how much does that cost? I don't know, 50p, pound, whatever. But they run out of stuff like this. Like when I was here, they ran out of bandages. Like, it's unbelievable that you've got all these people trying to help you and fix you, and they don't have enough bandages. And I could tell you countless things that runs out and they don't have, and it's just all a bit shocking. So if you've got any money, please make a donation. I've made a donation, and when I'm in a position later on in life, I'll always make donations to these guys because they've helped me through to hell and back, literally to hell and back. They helped me through it. So for the NHS, if you've got some cash, could be a fiver, could be nothing, just put it in there, and that money will go directly to this ward, Chartwell ward, this particular ward, and they'll be able to buy that trolley that they want to buy to be able to take snacks up and down to the patients, which they don't currently have. You know, they've got all these great ideas, but they need money to do it, and getting money through the government and the management and however it works. It doesn't happen like that, but you can make a difference because the money you donate will go directly to the ward. So simple things, I'm going to go now because I'm getting in a lot of trouble, but simple things like a menu, right? I've got a menu somewhere, I don't know where it is, but those menus cost money to print. But just by having a menu in every single patient's room will make a huge difference. It made a huge difference to me because I was here for 2 weeks and I said, what's for dinner? And they would give you 5 options because the person can't read you the whole menu, right? You know, it's like fish and chips, lasagna, and it was the same 5 options that everyone's giving him. And all of a sudden, one nurse, I think it was Brooke, her name is, she's an absolute superstar, like next level. But anyway, she gave me this menu, and my life changed at that day because all of a sudden I got this menu. Oh, they do beef madras. Wow. All they did, and like automatically you're getting foods that you wouldn't normally have, and it just encourages you to eat, and if you're eating you're getting better and all that sort of thing. So all I'm saying is your donation can make a big difference just by buying a menu so the patients can have a menu in their room or anything. Anyway, thanks a lot, and yeah, maybe I'll see you soon on a group skate. Cheers.